Hello students, my name is Anthony sir and I am going to teach you English subject in class 7. First of all, congratulations, you are now in class 7 and today we are going to learn the first lesson of English subject and the lesson name is 3 questions. This story is written by Leo Tolstoy. He was a very good writer and good philosopher also. From his story we can learn so many things, so many lessons for our life. In this lesson also we will learn some new things for your life. Okay, some self realization, what a man should do to the society, we will learn it in this lesson. Okay, so I hope you are going to enjoy this lesson. In this lesson there are two parts, so I'm going to make two videos, one video for first part and the second video for second part. So let's start the lesson. Before you read, a king has 3 questions and he is seeking answer to them. This is the background of the story. So there is a king and he has 3 questions and he is looking for the answer. What are these 3 questions? Does the king get what he wants? We will learn it in the lesson. The name of the lesson is 3 questions. Are you ready to start? Okay. The thought came to a certain king that he would never fail if he knew 3 things. So one thought came that if he knows these 3 things, then he will never fail in his life. These 3 things were: number one, what is the right time to begin something? It means he wanted to know the exact time when he should start any work. Which people should he listen to? What kind of people he should listen to? And the third one is, what is the most important thing for him to do? What is the most important thing? Because in life there are so many activities and so many things that we do, but he wants to find out which is the most important so that he can give priority to the work which is the most important at that time. Okay. The king therefore sent messenger throughout his kingdom. So in his kingdom he sent messenger. Messengers are the people who carry the message. So he sent them, promising a large sum of money to anyone who would answer these 3 questions. So he told them that if anybody you can find who can give these answers, then I will give them a lot of money, a large sum of money. Many wise men came to the king, but they all answered his questions differently. So people came from different places, but their answers were very different. They were not the same answer. In reply to the first question, some said, these are some of the answers from the wise people. Number one, some said the king must prepare a timetable and then follow it strictly. This is normally what we do in our study also. So the king should also prepare a timetable and follow it strictly. Only in this way, they said, could he do everything at proper time. Just by making timetable, you can do everything at proper time. That is the first answer. Others said that it was impossible to decide in advance the right time for doing something. Some people just say that it is almost impossible. We cannot know what we should do at the right time. The king should notice that all that was going on, avoid foolish pleasure. So what king should do? He should avoid foolish pleasure. It means doing the party and enjoying himself. He should avoid it. And next page, always do whatever seems necessary at the time. Whatever is necessary at particular time, that is what he should do. Yet others said, now other people what they said, that the king needed a council. Council means advice. And here council means the group of people who gives advice to him. A council of wise men who would help him act at the proper time. So any time when there is urgency, the council people, wise people should come and tell the king so that king will do the proper action at that particular time. Okay, so he is supposed to make a council. That is the advice of these wise people. This was because one man would find it impossible to decide correctly. Why he has to make the council? Because it is impossible to make all the decision by one person. The right time for every action, it is impossible by one man. So he should have a council. That is the advice. But then others said that there were some things which could be urgent. Some people also argue that Yes, it is good idea, but there are certain things which are very urgent and you can't wait for somebody's advice to come. These things could not wait for the decision of the council, and because it is urgent, we king cannot wait for the council's advice. He has to take quick decision. In order to decide the right time for doing something, it is necessary to look into the future. Now the other advice came that if you want to do what is the right at the right time, then you should know the future. And only magician could do that. Who can see the future? He, according to them, only magician can do the future. So they are giving advice that king should have magician around him who would see the future and advise him. Okay, the king therefore would have to go to the magician. In their answers to the second question, so all these answers were for first question. Now what are the answers for second question? Some said that the people most necessary to the king were his counselor. It means king should always be with counselor and he should listen the advice of counselor. Others said the priest. Who are the priest? Priests are the people who work in the temple, in the church, in the mosque. They are the priest. A few other chose the doctor. A few other people say no, it is the doctors he should listen to all the time. And yet others said that his soldiers were the most necessary people around him. To the third question, some said, okay, science. Okay, science is the subject that he should study. Others said that he should choose fighting. Fighting will help him to protect himself. And yet others says that he should have religious worship. He should spend his time in a religious worship. So these are different answers he got for his three questions. As the answers to his questions were so different, the king was not satisfied and gave no reward. The king was not actually satisfied with the answers. That is why he did not give prize to any of the wise men. Instead, he decided to seek the advice of a certain hermit. Now, who is the hermit? The meaning is given here. Hermit is a person who lives alone and leads a simple life. So, normally we call them sadhu, who are in the forest and they are trying to find the knowledge. Okay, so he also asked to go and get the hermit so that we can know the wisdom from him also, who was widely known for his wisdom. So there was a certain hermit who was very famous for his wisdom in that area also, and the king advised, no, the king commanded his soldiers to go and get him. The hermit lived in a wood which he never left. So it was a wooden house and he never left the house. He saw no one but simple people. Not many people used to come and visit him, but only simple people used to come and visit him in his hut. And so the king put on ordinary clothes. So he was wearing ordinary clothes all the time. Before he reached the hermit's hut, the king left his horse with his bodyguard and went on alone. So the king himself went to visit him and he did not go on the horse. Far away, he left his horse and then he walked towards hermit's house. And also he left his bodyguards behind. As the king came near to the hermit's hut, he saw the hermit digging the ground in front of his, next page, hut. Okay, so now here the king was almost at his house and he saw that the hermit is digging the ground. He greeted the king and continued digging. Okay, the greeting, it was greeting, just a normal greeting, good morning, good afternoon, whatever the time was, he greeted and he continued digging the ground. The hermit was old and very weak also, and he worked, he breathed heavily. Okay, so he was working, he was digging, and he was very old, and because he was very old, he was breathing heavily. He couldn't, he is not young man, okay, so he got very tired because of heavy work. Okay, the king went up to the hermit and said, I have come to you, wise hermit, to ask you to answer three questions. Now I want you to answer the three questions. How can I learn to do the right thing at the right time? First question. Who are the people I need most? Second question. And what affairs are the most important for me? This is the third question. and he wanted the hermit to give the answer. The hermit listened to the king but did not speak. At that time he did not give answer. He went on digging. Okay. Not that he did not know the answer, but he wanted to teach him a lesson, practical lesson. That is why he went on. He continued digging the ground. You are tired, said the king. Now the king saw him and said, you are tired. Let me take the spade and work in your place. Now what is the spade? Spade is the tool to dig the ground. You can see it in the picture here. The hermit is holding the spade. Okay, so he took the spade and he continued digging the ground. Okay. Thanks, said the hermit, giving the king his spade. So he gave him spade and he told him thank you. Then he sat down on the ground. Who sat down? The hermit sat down, and now the king is continue digging the ground. Next page. When the king had dug two beds, it means two ground, okay, two places where he was going to sow seed of anything, two beds. Here it is given the meaning small patches of ground for plant. He stopped and repeated his question. He stopped there and he repeated his question. What was his question? He wanted to know the answer of three questions. So he repeated, okay, because he thought that maybe the hermit did not listen to him and he did not give the answer. So he repeated the question. The hermit gave no answer. Again, hermit did not give answer, but stood up, stretching out his hand for the spade. Again he asked for the spade and said, now you rest and let me work. Hermit said that now, king, you are tired, you should relax and I will work. But the king did not give him the spade and continued to dig. The king said, no, you are tired, so you don't need to dig, I will continue digging. 1 hour passed. It means 1 hour he was continuously digging. Then another, one more hour. The sun went down behind the trees. It means now it is the evening time. The whole day he was digging the ground. And at last the king stuck the spade into the ground and said, now he got tired, irritated, that I have come to ask question and you are giving me this work to dig the ground from morning till evening. So he got irritated. And then he threw the spade away and then he asked, and then he said, I came to you, wise man, for answer to my questions. If you can give me no answers, tell me so and I will return home. He told him that if you cannot give answer, just tell me so that I can return home. Here comes running, said the hermit. And there somebody came there running, said the hermit. Okay, so this is the second part, and this is where the climax is, because a new person has come. Okay, now what will new person do? We will know it in the second part. Okay, so in this part what you have learned, it is the king who wanted to know the answer of his three questions. He called for wise people. Nobody was able to give proper answer that king was satisfied with, and then he decided to go to the hermit and get the answer. Now when he went to the hermit gave him some work to do and he was continued digging the ground. He got tired, but hermit did not give answer. So this is the first part. Now next story we will learn in the second part. Thank you.